Another week has come and gone, Pops. It looks like the used car bubble has not popped, unfortunately. Things are trending back up on the wholesale markets. Let's run through the data.
Only if you insist, young man.
All right, so last week we had an increase of about 0.4% on the car segment in the wholesale market and a small decline in the truck segment of the wholesale market. Overall, used car prices at the wholesale auctions were up 0.1 point last week.
Yes.
Similar this week.
Yes, car segments are up just over 0.3 point. The truck segment is up very little, less than a tenth of a point. And the market overall is almost, 15%? No. Yeah, 15%.
15%? What are you talking about?
13.
15% would be 15 in the front. It's 0.13.
Okay, that too. Looking for a car? Look no further than joinyaa.com. Go check out the cars listed there. There's no BS, no lead gen forms, no anything. Just cars.
The reason this is important, the reason this
Yes.
is noteworthy is because in the first 3 months of this year, wholesale used car prices dropped about 5-6%.
Yes.
And so we've now started to see, and a lot of people okay, the bubble has popped.
Yes.
We're going to see the precipitous decline of used car prices, and not so fast, because we're starting to see the upward trajectory once again. Now,
Yes.
some segments of vehicles have had upward trajectory for weeks. Not days, not weeks, potentially even months. For example, subcompact and compact cars, Dad, their price is up nearly 0.5 point and above 0.5 point each. That's continued buying of rental car companies and folks looking for more affordable vehicles.
More affordable and more fuel-efficient vehicles. I checked AAA gas prices the other day, and it was, if I remember correctly, 2 or 3 days ago, the average for regular nationwide was $4.27 a gallon again.
Yeah, so gas prices are still a factor for a lot of
Yes.
folks, and on the wholesale market, definitely influencing pricing there. Now, wow, the rise and never fall of van prices,
Yes.
minivans, compact vans, full-size vans, however, for the first time in 70 months, they actually declined in value
Not
by
70 months.
70 weeks, excuse
Yes,
me. They declined in value by 1/100 of a point.
Yes,
But
they're down $2.
But overall, the market stayed pretty flat in the truck and SUV segment.
Yes, yes.
Now, I'm always interested in debt, and let's come down here. Wow, the sales rate at the market was up to 71%.
So 71% of all vehicles that were offered at the auctions, the wholesale auctions for dealers, were sold last week.
Smaller independent dealers and rental companies continue to dominate the lanes, with larger independent dealers jumping in when lower mile or cleaner vehicles come through. Franchise dealers are still around too, making appearances in lane for desirable models, but seemingly more prudent than in previous months. A new trend that has been recently noticed is the flipping of recently launched extremely low mileage EV models, some selling for a few thousand over original MSRP, while others bring more than double.
Wow.
This hasn't been in an isolated area either. The coveted electric vehicles are popping up all over the country. So that's a new storyline here as well.
Yes, that really is. And, I just read somewhere this morning that EV registrations in Q1 were up 60% year over year. So I know they'd like to blame that increase on Kia, Ford, but it's mostly Tesla. But yeah, that's staggering that 60% more EVs were registered in the first 3 months of this year than in the same time frame last year.
And in the used car side of things and vehicle valuation side of things, our expectation, I'll speak for myself, I'm curious to get your take here. My expectation, Dad, is that hybrids and EVs continue to appreciate more rapidly. More fuel-efficient vehicles will appreciate more rapidly than gas guzzlers. That's been the trend that we've seen. If there's any cost-effective high gas mileage options out there, those are going to appreciate the
Yes.
most. For example, a 2012 Prius. That's like the hottest commodity, I think, in the car market right now.
I would think those type of vehicles would be Insights, things of that nature. The earlier hybrids, people are still going to want them, need them. They're more affordable now, and they offer the type of fuel efficiency that a lot of people are looking for when we have rising fuel prices and, other inflationary pressures.
Let's talk about new car market for just a second here. Data from Kelley Blue Book and Cox Automotive just came out. The average new vehicle transaction price in April was a staggering $46,526. That is up 0.7% month over month from March, and over a year ago, it's up over $5,000, 13%. Now, Automotive News and Cox Automotive have very different statistics in terms of days supply. So it says here, days supply of inventory was in the low 30s. That is wrong. That is just fundamentally wrong. Honda, we know, has a 3-day supply of inventory.
And that came from the head of Honda.
Correct. What Cox Automotive does here and what Kelley Blue Book does is they include in-transit vehicles, which totally screws up the numbers. Anyway, long story short, most dealers still don't have inventory.
Yes.
However, in April, new vehicles from Honda, Land Rover, and Mercedes-Benz were transacting on average between 5.8 and 8% over MSRP. On the other side of the spectrum, Fiat, Lincoln, and Ram were selling 1% below MSRP.
So for those people out there who say, are there still deals to be had? Those are some of the brands where deals still can be had. Ram, Fiat, what was the other that was in there?
Ram, Fiat, and Lincoln.
Yes.
Now, Pops.
Yes.
Non-luxury vehicles, average transaction price was $42,506.
Wait. That's non-luxury?
Non-luxury.
Okay, well, what was the luxury vehicle average?
The average selling price for a luxury vehicle last month in April, $65,628.
Oh, well, then saving $23,000 to not have all the luxury is well worth it, I would think.
The average price paid for a new EV dropped in April compared to March as more lower-priced models entered the market as well. Chevy Bolt is back after its extensive recall, and the Kia EV6 is selling well. Even Tesla had slightly lower average transaction price month over month. However, the average transaction price for a new EV sits at $65,000.
Yeah, that's an affordable price point.
Trucks, average transaction price for a new truck in April, $55,210. That was an increase of $621 month over month. And cars are sitting at an average transaction price of $45,290. The average, that's SUVs are at $45,290. Cars are at $42,165 in the month of April.
I will say what I've been saying for months. Who can afford to buy these things? I mean, with rising interest rates, inflation rising incredibly fast, faster than we've seen probably in 40 years or so. How do people,
you and I should go just on the street with a mic and ask people. We should go to a dealership and ask, how can you afford this?
Yes.
Trust me, it's staggering to me as well.
Either more people have more money than we realize, or more people are stretching their budget further than they ever have and not putting anything aside for a rainy day fund. One of the two.
Final thoughts here in terms of incentives. Vans had the smallest percentage of incentives as a percentage of the average transaction price.
In the sense that the manufacturers made you pay them,
correct,
as opposed to the manufacturer paying you?
1.2% incentives on Vans. Trucks had the highest incentive rate at 3.3% of the average transaction price. Incentives dropped to a record level in April, averaging only 2.8% of the average transaction price. None of the news that we see, I feel guilty at times on this channel that we don't have enough good news. None of the news that we see suggests that the new car shortage is going to get any better anytime soon. Thus, the reason we're continuing and starting to see the upward pressure and upward mobility of used car prices.
Yes.
We'll keep you posted. The moment we have some good news to share, we'll toss it out there.
Maybe we'll do an emergency live stream the day that there is some good news like that.
Consider it done.
Okie doke.
Thank you, Pops.
Thank you, Zach.